Good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this morning. For the players, right now it's all about switching off for some of them. Unlike Paulo Bernardo, who has met up with his international under-21 teammates. Yep, Paulo Bernardo there, full of smiles. Well, Celtic transfer talk has taken a little twist. In the last 24 hours, we've been linked with a winger, but we'll talk about that in just a second. As well as Paulo Bernardo with his international mates. Stephen Welsh is on holiday in the Algarve in Portugal. He'll be wondering what is going to happen with him this summer. Marco Tilio, remember him with Melbourne City? He's been named in Team of the Season. He's been named in Team of the Season as Marco Tilio, a player that's been told that he could leave Celtic, but a player that's come out and said seemingly that he wants to return to Celtic. There's no chance of that. I think he'll be one of the players that will be offloaded this summer. Talking about ex-players, Bruni, it's nice to see Bruni posting pictures of food on his Instagram. That's what you do when you give up football, isn't it? You just return to doing normal stuff like posting pictures of food on your stories. Gotta say, the prawns are huge, Bruni, like. He's in Dubai at the Atlantis Palm. Big posh place that, Bruni. Go yourself, big man. Adam Ida, he's back in Ireland and he's playing some golf on his downtown. I gotta say, he's not too bad golfer. Talking of golf, before we get on to the next one that plays golf, you've got young Adam Montgomery. He's on holiday somewhere. It looks like it could be America. It doesn't say. With his missus. Wonder what happened to Adam Montgomery, because he's a young player that's been out on loan from Celtic. The last season, he did get a fleeting starts coming on as a sub about a season ago. I wonder if he'll come back to Celtic and if he'll get an opportunity or if he'll be farmed out or ultimately sold this summer. It's going to be an interesting one to see what happens with him, because I thought he was a half decent young player. Next up is Luis Palma. Louis Palma, he's well, it's Louis, isn't it? Little Louis is mad on Instagram. He's got more stories than anybody on Instagram. Him and his missus are at some centre. I don't know what the centre is. I have no idea. It's just Palma, isn't it? Doing what Palma does. Anyway, he's in Greece. I can tell by the pictures. He is still in Greece, having a wonderful time with his family by the looks of it. And I think he's just won a Champions medal in Greece, hasn't he? So will Louis Palma get two league winners' medals, one from Scotland and one from Greece? It'd be bizarre if he did, but considering that he's not rated at Celtic. Next up is Rose Maguire Pub. That's a pub near me. That's nothing. Anthony Joseph, he's confirmed that Crystal Palace have announced that Jeffrey Sloop will leave this summer, opening the door to Celtic and other teams. A lot of people are thinking, he's a backup player at best, but surely Celtic can do better considering his age at 32. Celtic Instagram back for the moments, telling everyone to get their season tickets renewed. Charlie Mulgrew, he's been linked with the job in Dundee, as well as some other posts. He's also been linked by fans to come back to Celtic. I think with his media stuff that would he be a good pathway manager? People are even saying bring him back as the coach for the B team. Anyway, he was playing golf yesterday also. And then there's Alan Thompson. And then that's about it for the players. Transfer market. Just talking about, that's it. Everyone else kind of on radio silence, and so they should be, because let's face it, it's holiday season, isn't it? And for the players, it's all about getting some downtime before some of them return to international football next week. Unbelievable. I still think it's unbelievable. But anyway, Celtic have been linked with a winger. Celtic have reportedly been interested in a young winger called Oscar, according to Swedish reports. Celtic have watched him in several matches. Celtic are obviously looking for a winger due to the fact that, well, we've lost Louis Palma. Marco Tilio doesn't look as if he's going to be returning to the club, and Jota is out injured. It did reach the UEFA semi-final in the UEFA conference for the Swedish side. So it'll be interesting to see if Celtic do make a bid for the young 23-year-old. It's at that time of year, let's face it, we're going to get linked with more players than we'll actually sign. It's a good thing that we are starting to get linked with players, and it's good to know that the scouting system is out there working hard in the background trying to identify players to bring to Celtic next season. Can Brendan Rodgers ultimately come out the window stronger, like he likes to say? Well, there is around about 39 days until the next Celtic game, not that I'm counting down anything, and there'll be even less than that until the team comes back. The team will be back some of them will come back at the end of June, and some of them will come back at the start of July, having played some international football. So we'll lose Palma going out the door. It'll be interesting. I'm actually going to watch the Portugal under-21s just to see how Paulo Bernardo, and he is the under-21 captain. If he's the captain, surely there has to be better players in the team that we could be looking at coming from Portugal. But then again, they're maybe a bit more expensive than Paulo Bernardo. And what have been your thoughts on Paulo Bernardo over the course of the summer? As a player, has he improved any? Did he get enough game time, really? I think Paulo will be one player that's thinking, I signed that deal to come to Celtic full time. And he maybe thought in the summer he was going to walk straight into the first team, but Celtic went out and paid 11 million for Arne Engels. And a lot of people are still complaining about the fact that we did pay that for Arne Engels, but when you see what half-decent young players are going for this day and age, it looks like that Celtic will go down that route again of trying to buy up better, younger talent and a far more extreme cost. Is the young 23-year-old coming from Sweden, is he the answer? I think in the short term, but Celtic have had some fantastic Swedish players over the years. Obviously, the number one is Sir Henrik. We need to call him Sir Henrik. No, because that equates to royalty, and nothing to do with English throne, is it? It's the King of Kings. Yes, the King of Kings, Henrik Larsson. And then there is the big man himself, that was number 2 to one of the most important captains that Celtic had. Yes, it was Mikael Lustig. Mikael Lustig, the man who donned the Polos cap that day when we scored an absolute screamer of a goal. And then the big Johan Malby, who was number 2 to Neil Lennon for a long time, his spell at the club. Will it be another Swedish player that comes in and makes a name for himself? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. It is going to be a long summer. I do expect us to get linked with many, many more Celtic players. And then there's going to be the speculation. And then there will be the speculation about who will ultimately leave the club, if any. I think if transfer, you know the way that Celtic work. We go into the Champions League qualifiers at the end of August. Celtic will not have done any business, or maybe 2 or 3 bits of business, but they'll leave the majority to late in the window, which will ultimately frustrate Brendan Rodgers. Or will it be the summer that Celtic get their finger out and get all their business done the first week of people being back into pre-season? I think we'll all be watching very carefully this summer to what Brendan Rodgers says during the pre-season tour. The games in Portugal. It'll be interesting to see how many games that they do play in Portugal. And then there's this little trip to Italy to face Como and Ajax. Over the moon with that one. 2 right-wing bigoted, absolute, fantastic fan bases. There'll be a lot of people who will head over to Italy for that, but we'll just wait and see what happens on that one. Anyway, make sure you join us at 8 PM Celtic Park time tonight. There's no football on tonight, so come on, jump on the channel and we can talk about the big stories of the day. Or will you just switching off and not even thinking about Celtic? Maybe that's what we should all do. Not a chance. We live, we breathe, we are Celtic. And like the club says, it's not a case of we never stop. It's a case of the story never ends. On that note, have an absolutely fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world.